This is a cigar box radio that I made for my dad. It only plays one radio station, and that's KFWR from Texas, so he can relive his youth or something. What we've got is a cigar box, 2 speakers stereo, and a few very simple tabs at the top. If we put the power on, then there's a Raspberry Pi in there, which will very slowly start up because it thinks that it's a full computer. And then we have 2 LEDs up here. We've got an LED that says whether or not Wi-Fi is connected, and an LED that says whether or not we're connecting or connected to a streaming device. Once power comes onto the whole of the Raspberry Pi, that'll be there. And then we've got a volume knob. And the volume knob is connected to an analog to digital chip. Now there we go. So power to the Pi, and we're not streaming yet because we haven't pressed this button. So now it's contacting the server, thinking it through, and playing. And then we have a volume knob which is working through electronics. So we've got an analog digital converter. Going through there is a voltage divider, reading off what it is, and then changing the volume within the Raspberry Pi using Python. Inside, we have our 2 speakers. Our control plate, which is a piece of inlaid brass. This here, which you can just see, and this here. So underneath we have the Raspberry Pi. It's a wireless model, and then we have on top of that a Adafruit speaker bonnet, which is like a small hat, and that runs the 2 speakers using stereo and I believe SPI. And then we have a hat on top of the hat, which has our ADC chip, and then the connections for the LEDs, the stream or not stream, and the volume potentiometer. And that all closes down. I cut these holes in so that we have some passive ventilation for the Raspberry Pi, so it doesn't get too cold or too hot even. And then we have this here is just a way of having a vaguely professional looking power unit in there rather than a cable indirectly. And that's it. Only plays one station, does it well.